Why human behavior is predictable. Human behavior feels mysterious only when you are inside it. When you step back and observe from a distance, something unsettling becomes clear. Most human behavior repeats, not occasionally, not sometimes, but consistently. Across cultures, languages, and generations, people react in similar ways to similar pressures. They fear the same losses. They desire the same validations. They obey the same signals of authority. This is not opinion. This is biology. The human brain was not designed to discover truth or express individuality. It was designed to survive efficiently. Efficiency requires shortcuts. Shortcuts require patterns, and patterns create predictability. Every thought you have is filtered through systems that existed long before you were born. Neural circuits shaped by evolution, conditioning reinforced by society, emotional responses inherited from survival environments that no longer exist. You may believe you're making conscious choices, but neuroscience shows that most decisions are made before consciousness is aware of them. The mind decides. Consciousness explains. This is where dark psychology begins, not as manipulation, but as recognition. Recognition of a simple truth. Human behavior follows structure, the illusion of free choice. People insist they are free thinkers, yet place them in a crowd and they conform, introduce authority and they obey, trigger fear and they submit, offer validation and they comply. Freedom exists, but it is limited and it is fragile. Most people do not choose their reactions, they experience them. The brain prioritizes safety over accuracy, belonging over truth, certainty over complexity. This is why predictable narratives spread faster than accurate ones, why strong emotions overpower logic, why repetition creates belief even when the belief is false. When a pattern works once, the brain reuses it. When it works repeatedly, it becomes automatic. When it becomes automatic, it becomes invisible. And invisible systems are the most powerful. The brain as a prediction engine. Modern neuroscience describes the brain as a prediction engine. It does not wait for reality to happen. It predicts what will happen next, then adjusts if it is wrong. Prediction saves energy. Energy conservation was survival. So the brain constantly asks, what happened last time? What is most likely now? What reaction costs the least? This is why habits form so easily, why trauma imprints so deeply, why first impressions dominate logic. The brain would rather be wrong quickly than correct slowly, and once a pattern feels familiar, it feels true. This is not weakness, it is efficiency. But efficiency creates patterns, and patterns can be learned. Chapter 2. The Biology of Power and Control. Power does not begin in politics. It does not begin in money. It does not even begin in social status. Power begins in the body. Long before humans built societies, laws, or hierarchies, the nervous system learned one rule: follow what reduces threat. This rule still governs behavior today. When people speak about power, they imagine strategy, intelligence, or dominance. But biology tells a quieter story. Power works because the human nervous system responds to it automatically, before thought, before reasoning, before morality. Power as a nervous system response. The body reacts to power the same way it reacts to danger. Heart rate changes, breathing adjusts, attention narrows. This happens even when the power is symbolic, a title, a uniform, a confident tone, a commanding posture. The body interprets these signals as hierarchy. Hierarchy simplifies survival decisions. When hierarchy is clear, the brain relaxes. When hierarchy is uncertain, anxiety rises. This is why people instinctively look for leaders in chaos.
not because leaders are always right, but because leadership reduces uncertainty. Uncertainty is exhausting. Dominance signals an ancient wiring. Humans are social mammals. Like all social mammals, we evolved around dominant structures. These structures were not about cruelty. They were about efficiency. Dominant individuals made decisions. Subordinates followed. This reduced conflict, reduced risk, reduced cognitive load. Modern humans still respond to ancient dominance cues. Stillness instead of fidgeting, slow, controlled movement, lower vocal pitch, direct eye contact, calm certainty under pressure. None of these guarantee competence, but they trigger biological respect. The body reacts before the mind questions. Confidence versus truth. Why confidence feels like truth? Confidence alters perception. A confident statement feels more accurate, even when it is false. A hesitant truth feels weaker, even when it is correct. This is not a flaw of intelligence. It is a shortcut of survival. In dangerous environments, hesitation signaled weakness. Certainty signaled leadership. So the brain learned to associate confidence with safety. This is why people often follow the wrong leader with conviction and reject the correct one with doubt. The body chooses first, the mind explains later. Control through emotional regulation. The most powerful individuals are not the loudest, they are the calmest. Emotional stability signals control over environment and self. This triggers trust at a biological level. When someone remains calm during stress, others unconsciously defer. Their nervous systems synchronize. This is why panic spreads from unstable leaders and calm spreads from grounded ones. Control is contagious. Stress, cortisol, and submission. Under stress, the brain changes. Cortisol increases. The prefrontal cortex weakens. Critical thinking decreases. Under these conditions, people seek direction. They obey faster. They question less. They simplify choices. This is why high-pressure environments produce obedience. Deadlines, crises, fear-driven narratives. Stress narrows awareness. Control becomes easier, not because people want to be controlled, but because thinking becomes expensive. Biology of obedience. Obedience is not moral failure. It is neurological efficiency. When instructions come from a perceived authority, the brain offloads responsibility. This reduces internal conflict. Responsibility creates anxiety. Obedience removes it. This is why people often say, "I was just following orders," not as an excuse, but as a psychological reality. Power and reward systems. Power is reinforced through reward. Approval releases dopamine. Recognition creates attachment. Status activates motivation circuits. Once the brain associates obedience with reward, behavior becomes self-sustaining. Punishment trains fear. Reward trains loyalty. Both shape behavior, but reward creates longer-lasting compliance. Control feels invisible. The most effective control does not feel like control. It feels normal. When behavior aligns with expectations, no force is required. People self-correct. They self-police. They defend the system. This is not manipulation. It is conditioning. Conditioning is how the brain learns. Power over others versus power over self. There is a difference between dominance and mastery. Dominance requires constant reinforcement. Mastery creates natural authority. Those who control their reactions automatically influence environments. Their presence stabilizes rooms. Their silence carries weight. This is not technique, it is regulation. Biological sovereignty. True power begins internally. When fear no longer dictates reaction, external pressure loses leverage. When approval no longer drives behavior, control dissolves. Understanding the biology of power returns agency to the individual, not by rebellion, but by awareness. Closing of Chapter 2. Power works because the body responds before the mind understands, but awareness rewires response. Once you recognize the biological roots of control, you stop personalizing pressure. You stop mistaking instinct for truth, and slowly, the system loses its grip.
Chapter 4. Authority, Obedience, and Social Conditioning. Authority is rarely questioned when it is first encountered. It is felt. Before a single command is spoken, the body already reacts. Posture adjusts. Attention sharpens. Resistance weakens. Authority does not begin with orders. It begins with perception, and perception is biological. Why authority feels natural. Human societies did not invent authority. They inherited it. Long before modern civilization, survival depended on hierarchy. Someone decided, others followed. Not because they were weaker, but because chaos kills. Hierarchy reduced uncertainty, reduced conflict, reduced risk. The nervous system learned a simple rule. Following authority feels safer than facing uncertainty alone. That rule still operates today. Obedience as psychological relief. Obedience is often misunderstood as submission. In reality, it is often relief. Thinking is costly. Deciding is stressful. Being responsible is heavy. Authority removes burden. When someone else decides, the mind rests. This is why people obey even when instructions feel wrong. Disobedience creates internal conflict. Obedience dissolves it, not morally, neurologically. The transfer of responsibility. When authority is present, responsibility shifts. I was told, I was instructed, I had no choice. These are not excuses, they are descriptions of mental state. The brain externalizes responsibility to reduce anxiety. When responsibility leaves, guilt weakens. When guilt weakens, compliance increases. This is how ordinary people participate in harmful systems without feeling malicious. Social conditioning starts early. Authority conditioning begins in childhood. Parents, teachers, institutions. Rules are rewarded. Questioning is discouraged. Not always intentionally, but consistently. Children learn that approval follows obedience. Disapproval follows resistance. Over time, this association hardens. Obedience feels correct. Resistance feels dangerous. By adulthood, authority is internalized. People police themselves. The uniform effect. Authority does not require intelligence. It requires symbols, uniforms, titles, credentials, formal language. These symbols shortcut evaluation. The brain interprets symbols as proof of legitimacy. This is why identical instructions feel different depending on who delivers them. The message matters less than the messenger. Group pressure and normalization. Authority strengthens when supported by the group. If everyone complies, resistance feels abnormal. If everyone agrees, doubt feels dangerous. Humans are social survival machines. Isolation once meant death, so the brain avoids standing alone. Group approval overrides personal judgment. This is why crowds obey faster than individuals, why silence spreads, why dissent disappears. The spiral of compliance. Obedience is rarely immediate and extreme. It escalates. Small compliance sets precedent. Precedent becomes expectation. Expectation becomes obligation. Each step feels minor. Each step feels reasonable, until the line has moved far beyond where it began. This is not deception. It is gradual conditioning. Authority and moral bypass. Under authority, moral evaluation weakens. The brain reframes actions as procedural. I am just doing my role. I am part of the system. Moral responsibility dissolves into function.
This is why systems, not individuals, often cause the greatest harm. Systems distribute responsibility so thin that no one feels accountable.
Chapter 5. Social Conditioning, Identity, and Belief Systems. Most people believe their beliefs are their own. They defend them. They argue for them. They suffer for them. But very few ever ask a dangerous question. Where did these beliefs come from? Belief does not begin with truth. It begins with repetition. And repetition begins long before awareness. The birth of conditioning. From the moment a human enters the world, conditioning begins. Language, rules, rewards, punishments. None of these are neutral. They shape perception before choice exists. A child does not analyze reality. A child absorbs it. What is praised becomes good. What is punished becomes wrong. What is repeated becomes normal. By the time critical thinking develops, the foundation is already set. Most beliefs are inherited, not chosen. Social conditioning as survival strategy. Conditioning is not evil. It is efficient. A society cannot function if every rule is questioned by every individual. So systems teach what to respect, what to fear, what to desire. This creates predictability. Predictability creates order. Order creates stability. The nervous system prefers stability. So conditioning feels safe. Identity, when belief becomes self. At some point, beliefs stop being ideas and start becoming identity. Identity answers the question, who am I? Once beliefs attach to identity, they are no longer evaluated. They are defended. A belief can be wrong, but identity must be protected. This is where belief becomes rigid. Why challenging beliefs feels like an attack. When a belief is challenged, the body reacts. Heart rate changes. Breathing tightens. Emotions rise. This reaction is not intellectual. It is biological. The brain interprets identity threats as survival threats. This is why debates rarely change minds. This is why facts bounce off emotion. This is why correction feels insulting. People are not protecting truth. They are protecting self-image, group identity, and belonging. Humans do not just hold beliefs. They share them. Shared beliefs create groups. Groups create belonging. Belonging once meant survival, so the brain protects group identity fiercely. Disagreeing with the group risks rejection, isolation, and loss of status. These feel ancient. They feel dangerous. So conformity feels safer than truth. Normalization through repetition. The brain accepts what it sees repeatedly, not because it is true, but because it is familiar. Familiarity creates comfort. Comfort creates acceptance. This is how harmful norms survive. False ideas persist. Dysfunction feels normal. People do not ask, is this right? They ask, is this common? And common becomes correct. Belief systems as invisible control. The strongest control system is the one people defend themselves. When beliefs feel personal, control becomes internal. No force is needed. No authority is required. People self-regulate. They self-censor. They self-correct. This is not oppression. It is internalization, and it is incredibly stable. The cost of breaking identity. Leaving a belief system has consequences. Confusion, loneliness, loss of certainty. Certainty feels comforting, even when false. Uncertainty feels dangerous, even when honest. So many people remain loyal to beliefs that limit them, not because they are blind, but because the cost of leaving feels too high. Why awareness feels isolating. When someone steps outside conditioning, the world feels different, quieter, stranger, less certain. They see patterns others do not. They question assumptions others defend. This creates distance, not superiority. Distance. And distance can feel lonely. So many return to comfort, reclaiming identity.
True independence does not require rejection of all beliefs. It requires flexibility. Beliefs become tools, not prisons. Identity becomes fluid, not fixed. This allows growth without collapse. When identity loosens, learning accelerates, and control weakens. Seeing beliefs as structures. Beliefs are structures. They organize perception. They simplify complexity. They guide behavior. But structures can be examined. When you see a belief as a structure instead of a truth, you regain distance. Distance restores choice. Quiet sovereignty. The goal is not rebellion. The goal is clarity. Not to fight systems, but to see them. Not to reject identity, but to loosen it. This creates a form of quiet sovereignty, unannounced, stable, uncontrollable. Closing of Chapter 5. Social conditioning shapes belief. Belief shapes identity. Identity shapes behavior. But awareness reshapes all three. When beliefs are seen clearly, they lose their grip. And when identity becomes flexible, freedom becomes possible. Not loud freedom, not dramatic freedom, but internal freedom.